Hi, my name's Hannah. I've had a stoma since January 2018 and I get a lot of questions about what I wear, how having a stoma might affect the clothes that you put on your body and how I dress with a stoma. So I thought I would take you through the different ways that having a stoma makes dressing slightly different, but also how it actually kind of suits my fashion sense and my style. There's maybe only one or two areas that I've had to adjust in a way that is kind of frustrating and difficult for me. Mostly day to day. I just kind of wear the same clothes that I used to, but there are specific things that I have to consider. So I thought I would start with what I would wear post-surgery. Now this is very specific because I was very weak. I'd just had major abdominal surgery. Everything in this area hurt. I couldn't really move very much. So this is kind of for that. And also it was winter. I did have a second surgery in the summer. And so we'll get onto that later because obviously the weather will also affect what kinds of clothes you can wear. So one thing that I quickly realised when I came out of hospital was that I could no longer wear pyjamas all of the time or hospital gowns. And the only other things that I had to kind of go on my bottoms were either tights or jeans. And at the time, I was not ready to wear tights or jeans. It felt too restrictive, it felt too tight and stuff on my tummy area that was really sore and still healing. So what I did was I purchased some plain black leggings. I could wear leggings and still be really comfortable, but it would be socially acceptable for me to wear leggings outside. So I just wore leggings and then I would just wear baggy tops. The only other thing that I had to really change about how I dressed around that time was my slippers. So the slippers that I owned at the time had no back to them, and because I was learning to walk again and learning to walk up and down stairs, the physios were basically that's too dangerous because that can just fall off your foot and you could trip over it or whatever. It was just a potential hazard. So I had to buy new slippers that fully encased my foot, a bit more slipper shoes, so that I wouldn't fall and die. And I still wear them all of the time. As I was on my road to recovery and I was getting stronger, at one point I was I'm ready for some jeans. And it was also getting much warmer. So I bought myself a high-waisted pair of light denim jeans. And I had to buy new jeans because all of my old jeans did not fit me anymore. And I specifically needed high-waisted jeans. This is going to be a theme throughout this whole video. High-waisted everything. Everything has to be high-waisted. And that's because you do not want the belt line of whatever it is you're wearing, tights, jeans, shorts, leggings. You do not want the tightest bit of it, the top of it, to be on your stoma. You either want it to be below it or above it. Yeah, so I started wearing more normal clothes, and this is basically what I wear now. So I have two pairs of high-waisted jeans. I also wear tights, so tights can come up nice and high-waisted and keep everything nice and flat and snug down, and dresses. So I own a lot of dresses and I love them. The only times when I think you can see the stoma bag, and most of the time this is just me and other people don't notice it at all, is when it's slightly full or inflated with gas and I'm wearing jeans, because then I can actually see the jeans kind of bulging out. And I can see that. I don't really know if other people can see it, but I can definitely feel it as well. So it's also uncomfortable, and I'll go and empty it as soon as possible. But for the most part, clothes that I wear, you literally could not tell looking at me that I have a stoma bag. So the next category is workout clothes. Eventually, I got to a place where I was getting stronger and I was working out and I was getting my fitness back, and I actually did a 5K for the first time since surgery last year, and I documented that whole process. If you're interested in that surgery to 5K journey, there's a playlist which I'll link in the description. But once again, what I wear for workout is high-waisted leggings. Everything is high-waisted, but this is where it gets a bit more specific for my condition. So when you have a stoma, you are more likely to be at risk for getting hernias because you've got a weakness in your abdomen wall, in your muscle. So I have to wear support garments. So I have a support vest, which was gifted to me by this company called Vanilla Blush, who do lots of like hernia support garments and ostomy like underwear and things like that. And then I have a support belt, like a hernia support belt that I wear over the top of it. And this is something that you can get on prescription if you're someone with a stoma, and that goes around your waist, and that is like super tight. And basically I feel really nice and secure and snug, and it basically stops my abdomen from exploding and ripping apart. And that sounds extreme, but that is what it feels like it's stopping it from doing sometimes. So the only issue that I've had with this setup is, at first what I would do was I would wear the support belt under the vest. So the support belt would be on my skin, and I had to stop doing that because when I would go running, where the support belt would hit my skin, it would just like rub and it would cause blisters, and I would literally have these huge blisters like under my boobs, and I would have to hold my boobs up constantly, and it was really uncomfortable trying to go to sleep as well, because if my boobs flopped onto the blisters, then that's like rubbing against the blister, and it was really sore. That's when I switched to having vest first and then the belt on top of the vest. But the downside of this is that the belt just slides right up. It just slides right up the vest. And it's so annoying because when I'm running, every like 10 seconds, I'm like pulling it down because it's not in the right position. And I don't know whether this is because the size I have is too small, but it gets like someone came around to my house like to fit it for me to make sure I had the right size. So I don't know. And I'm pretty sure that didn't happen when I had it on my skin, but then I got blisters under my boobs. So that's not great. Swimwear is mostly straightforward. I, again, had to buy new swimwear because my weight changed a lot, although I have put a lot of weight on again now since I last wore my stuff. So I don't even know if the stuff that I have fits me anymore. I have a high-waisted bikini, which is great for me because like it holds it down nice and secure, and I feel really comfortable and confident in that. And then also just like full body swimming costume. And what I found with that is that, again, like you cannot tell, you cannot see that it's there. The only time that maybe you would be able to see is if it's like filled up or anything like that, but then I would just like go and empty it and like sort it out. I did buy a low rise bottoms bikini, but I have been too scared to wear it, and I definitely think it's probably too small for me now. I don't feel confident enough, I think, to like have my Stoma bag like fully out in public. But the other thing is just practical. Like if you're going swimming, it is so much easier just to like wear a full costume or wear a high-waisted bottoms, because then the Stoma bag is down. Like being in water and the Stoma bag just like flapping and like floating around just seems really annoying and inconvenient to me. The only reason why I might want to wear like a low-rise bikini is to get that tan on, you know? Oh my god. So we're talking about bikinis. Let's move on to summer stoma wear. So as I mentioned, I had my second surgery in June and it was super, super hot. And so I had to refigure out my wardrobe because I would just be wearing lots of loose dresses because, like I said at the beginning, like my abdomen, like I just had surgery, I was healing, I didn't want anything like tight and heavy like touching me there. So I would just wear all of these like loose summer dresses. However, when you're wearing a loose summer dress, you don't have leggings, so you don't have tights to hold the Stoma bag down. So it was about last summer that I invested in lots of high-waisted underwear, and now that's what I exclusively wear, and I love it. I don't think I had to buy any new shorts for summer last year. Most of my shorts were already high-waisted, or they generally just like came up to a comfortable place above my Stoma, so that was really good. This is not Stoma related, but another like thing that happens to me in the summer is the thigh chafing thing, and I always have to carry around like a bottle of chafing gel lubricant or something in my bag in the summer, and I'm always just like slathering it on my thighs because ouch, I get real bad chafing, real bad. And then this is the bold category, aka pink scar don't car. Doesn't quite rhyme. So this is when I'm feeling real bold, real confident, and it's a combination of either like see-through tops, so you can like see a bit of the top of the Stoma bag, you can see the scar, and that looks really cool, or crop tops where like the scar is just like fully on show, and maybe even the top of the Stoma bag as well. So those are the days where I'm just like, ooh, 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 feeling bold. I do love it, and it makes me feel powerful and proud of my body. So yes, that is how I dress with a stoma, and it still is a process for me. Like, it's been over a year since I had the first surgery, but it was only like a couple months ago that I started wearing belts again with my jeans, because before that, having like a tight belt around my waist just felt like too much and too painful. But now I'm like, yeah, no, I want that. Like, yeah. Get it tight. Thank you for watching. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I would love to hear in the comments if you have to make any adjustments to your style, your fashion, the clothes that you want to wear, can't wear, or whatever it is based on a condition that you might have or your body. If you are comfortable sharing, I would love to hear, and make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon. Bye!